The air in Philadelphia hung heavy with unspoken expectations, the kind of crushing weight that only a football-obsessed city can manufacture in the dead of summer. Training camp had arrived, bringing with it a tidal wave of anxiety and anticipation. Every eye was locked on the practice fields, where a franchise was about to discover whether its carefully laid plans would yield a championship or crumble under the magnifying glass of intense scrutiny. Beneath the bright July sun, the mood shifted from cautious optimism to outright shock before a single helmet even popped. A bombshell report sliced through the morning calm. A marquee off-season acquisition, a defensive cornerstone brought in to terrorize opposing quarterbacks, had suffered a pectoral injury during weightlifting. Instantly, the baseline of the defense shuddered. The initial wave of panic was met with immediate damage control from the front office. Assurances poured out that the injury was not a catastrophic, season-ending tear. Yet, for a player whose career had been dogged by the lingering ghost of availability issues, having only managed a full 17-game slate once across 6 grueling professional seasons, alongside missed reps during spring workouts, the development sent a cold chill through the fan base. Millions of dollars and immense draft capital had been invested to anchor that pass rush. Now, an ominous question mark hung over the unit before the first week of camp could even catch its breath. The domino effect and the ghost of the past. When a major piece falls out of the defensive machinery, the ripple effects are immediate and unforgiving. For the coaching staff, the sudden absence forced a rapid tactical recalibration. Behind closed doors, the conversation turned instantly to depth. Opportunity knocked loudly for young edge rushers eager to prove their mettle, thrusting them into high-stakes, first-team reps under the microscope. But as the younger players stepped up to fill the void, a larger, unspoken shadow hovered over the facility. The status of a beloved veteran presence whose locker room gravity and clutch production had defined an era. Whispers about a potential return had floated through the off-season air for months. Yet, as the team took the field, that familiar number was missing from the roster, and front office leaders offered only tight-lipped, non-committal pleasantries when pressed by the media. The calculus of the defense had fundamentally shifted. Would management scour the league for an external savior, or would they lean inward and trust the internal pieces to weather the approaching storm? While the edges of the defense searched for stability, the interior told a vastly different, astronomical story. Just days prior, the organization had shattered expectations by locking down their defensive tackle with a record-setting extension. The financial architectural design was a masterpiece of modern cap management, ensuring that massive cap hits were pushed safely into the future while instantly offsetting other heavy financial burdens on the roster. Critics, as always, pointed to past hurdles, questions of maturity, conditioning, and durability that had followed the star lineman throughout his young career. But inside the building, the narrative was entirely different. Leaders pointed to a profound shift in mindset, a hardened resolve, and a terrifying physical transformation. Those who watched him work up close issued a chilling warning to the rest of the league. The dominant flashes of the past were merely a preview. The absolute peak of his dominance was coming, and opposing offensive coordinators were entirely unprepared for what was about to be unlocked. The revolution under center, with the defensive chess pieces violently rearranging themselves, the attention shifted to the offensive side of the ball, and what unfolded next stunned even the most seasoned observers in attendance. For months, the narrative surrounding the offense had been locked in a rigid box. Critics claimed the scheme was predictable, restricted, and overly reliant on perimeter magic rather than surgical precision through the heart of the defense. Opposing coordinators thought they had the blueprint figured out. They were dead wrong. From the very first whistle of team drills, the offense executed a radical metamorphosis. The unit lined up under center with a frequency unseen in the current coaching era, completely dismantling the defensive geometry. But the true shocker wasn't just the alignment. It was the aerial assault that followed. Instead of relying on the predictable sideways rhythm of the past, the franchise quarterback dropped back with an eerie, surgical calm and began dismantling the middle of the field. Pass after pass zipped through tight windows over the linebackers, carving up the secondary with ruthless efficiency. Deep-seam balls dropped perfectly into the arms of diving targets. Intermediate crossers split defenders who were cheating toward the flats. The player driving the machine looked lighter, faster, and utterly unfazed by a brand-new playbook that demanded complex reads and instantaneous processing. Receivers and linemen alike marveled at the shift. Pass protection had suddenly transformed from a chaotic scramble into a structured fortress, with interior guards providing unprecedented help in the trenches. The complexity was dialed up to suffocate the defense, yet simplified enough to let elite athletes play fast and free. The rising tides, as the primary unit flashed its frightening new ceiling, the churning gears of competition revealed fascinating subplots across the roster. In the backfield, a dynamic runner acquired to spell the star running back began demanding attention with explosive gains and smooth hands out of the backfield, making a strong case for heavy touches when the real games arrived. Meanwhile, the backup quarterback battle turned into a fierce, high-stakes chess match. Drive after drive, signal callers traded brilliant tight window strikes to high-profile targets, pushing each other to the absolute brink. Even the newest arrivals on the offensive depth chart made their presence felt, showcasing cannon arms and a fearless willingness to test the deep third of the field, leaving the coaching staff with impossible roster puzzles to solve over the coming weeks. Yet, despite the dazzling offensive fireworks and the defensive adjustments, a grounding reality settled over the facility as the practice concluded. Pads were still off. The physical collisions of training camp were still waiting in the wings. No final conclusions could be drawn from a single afternoon of brilliant execution. As the players walked off the turf, exhausted and dripping in sweat, the emotional pulse of the franchise was clear. The doubts, the noise from the outside world, and the immense pressure of championship expectations had not disappeared. They had simply been channeled into something electric. The journey had only just begun, but one undeniable truth echoed through the Philadelphia air. This team was no longer playing by yesterday's rules. They were writing an entirely new playbook, and the rest of the league was officially on notice.